Well, good afternoon. It's Monday, August 30th, 2021. We're just about to be done with the month of August. Shout out to my brothers Oz and Randalls for their podcast, Opinions While Black, every Monday. Tune in. I have stolen their NSFW. So my podcast is not safe for whites. So I trust everybody had an awesome weekend. And there don't get it twisted. There's a whole lot of stuff going on out there now. And I've been so angry the last couple of days. I had to renew my spirit that things will get better as long as we just keep getting up every day and utilizing our 86,400 seconds to the best of our abilities. So while there's a lot of chaos going on with the war, with politics, with food, with housing, with labor, all of these systems, and let me not forget war. All of these systems are now really fervently introducing their attitudes, their disciplines, and their habits. And unfortunately, we have been sucked in to too much of this drama. So I'm not going to try to belabor the points that we're in precarious situations, whichever way we look. And so I'm just looking at it from just a women's standpoint of view. We're in precarious situations because men seem to want to write the policies and legislation for women. And they're not doing it with kindness and they're not being gentle. But I want to stay to the positive side today, which means that most of you, or many of you, or all of you that have been able to hear my podcast since my beginning know that we're in there's a whole mess of chaotic stuff going on. So, war, we got to call it like we see it. You know as well as I know it's time to get out. You know as well as I know there have been 20 years for us to get out. So, knowing how governments and knowing how systems do their thing, probably in another 6 months, we're going to hear about all the misappropriations of funds, all the pure, I'm trying to stay positive today, but all the insane information we have been receiving out of Afghanistan and Kabul over the last month or so. I do feel for the folks that are left. I have great disdain for the folk that are left. But all of you all that are left, quite frankly, had 20 years to get out. You knew this was coming because it smelled just like Vietnam. So you knew this tomfoolery was coming. And you knew you'd probably have used all the trillions of dollars, yeah, that you don't want to get accounted for, you know? So please, let's be careful of how we're now attacking a 20-year system that had attitudes, it had disciplines, and it had habits. And a lot of people out are still there, had their hands in the cookie jar. So now the cookie jar is being closed, just like we closed Vietnam. Okay? We need to make peace with how this system of war is about to flow. We need to get off of Joe Biden. He has not been in office a year. So this has not been his struggle. Let's not make it his. This is over 20 years of, I'm so trying not to curse today, but this has been 20 years of stuff, chaos, stuff, discipline, stuff, attitude, stuff, systems where you've gone in, you said we were going to do one thing, and all we did was drained the United States. 2.5, a 2.5, a 25 point trillion. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money that you in the war system are asking us to swallow. And you knew you did not do your best while there. So, hey, I'm calling a spade a spade. We're getting out. We're going to have to let it go. I think the last time that I spoke to you guys, I was talking about the gubernatorial race in California, and I think I made the mistake of saying that Larry Elders was, excuse me, out of New York. That's not true. Larry Elders is out of California, running against the current governor of California. Look, people, Californians, get up off your rusty dusty and find your way to a voting booth and cast your ballot. Cast your ballot. Please, 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 please ignore the nonsense, the foolishness, oh, the god awful uh conversations that Larry Elders is trying to have with Californians. Now I'm going to suggest that you get up off your rusty dusties, you find your way to a poll, and you do not cast your ballot. My God, I'm having a problem with the word ballot. It's because I know Larry Elders is doing some ugly stuff right now. But you guys need to get up. You need to find your way to a poll. You need to try to save yourself and save your state by avoiding an Larry Elder gubernatorial run. Just kind of get up, go to the polls, vote your way, but I hope you're voting against Larry Elders. That's all I got to say about that. The other thing that crossed my mind, oh yeah. So the Supreme Court is choosing to implement, well, first of all, the Supreme Court is lifting eviction bans. That means that most of the individuals that live in the United States that found themselves shut down because of COVID, not being able to work, not paying rental fees, and whatever your other bills were. The federal government says, oh no, you've been there long enough. If you can't afford your rent, then the folk in power, your landlords, have the right now to evict you because they are tired of not getting an income from those of us that have been displaced because of this virus. So the Supreme Court lifts the eviction ban, which means, my God, all of us that have not paid rent since March of 2020 are facing evictions right now. And it's going to be interesting how we are able to settle or resettle or replace these individuals that are now losing their rental salvations, if you will, where the federal government was picking up or saying to landlords, you cannot evict your people because of COVID. So they're lifting the ban. Those of us that have not paid rent since March, oh my God, we're in a precarious point right now, especially if we have not begun to work. So my prayers go out to all those individuals that find themselves now facing the inhumanity of landlords wanting their money. Oh my God. Okay, so I made it great that Larry Elder is in California, not not New York. And so it's the Californians that need to get up, and it is the Californians that need to protect their state and have some capacity for those individuals that do not no longer have rental uh who have taken advantage of those rental not paying bills because of COVID. Now you find yourself at the mercy of somebody to help you manage your life, because no one out here on the outside world, I guess, wants to deal with it. Uh, you know, I'm just looking at the Republicans now as they are changing their views, especially on climate change. Graham is now count me in and looking in it. He's watched the science, and now they believe that climate control is affecting those of us in the United States. And so now everybody's inviting us to do something, to start doing something, whatever that something might be. Huh, huh. Whatever that something might be. And too many cars, too much other outside pollution is wreaking havoc on our environment. And if you don't want to do it now, mm, 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 sooner or later, you're going to have to deal with the influence that climate change has had and is having and is continuing to have on our environment. As the folk just coming out of Louisiana with this Ida that's going all the way up now to the right, to the East Coast, just drenching and drenching and drenching. Just rain, 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 rain. You know what I mean? So come on, and you know who you are because you're sitting in positions of power. You know you are supposed to be doing much better than you're doing. Let me just hurry to say, you know what? Like I've said all along, those of us that have been, I'm not even in politics, don't intend to get into politics, but those of you that are in politics, you know you've been dirty too. Your hands are not clean. which is why if you've been there 20 years, you got to go in 2022 or 2024 for sure. And when the 6-year terms of Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell are up, we need to make sure they do not get reelected again. We need some new trains of thought. We need some more truth, real truth talk being given to those of us that live in the United States. I'm trying to stay positive. So the last thing I saw an Bill Maher Van Jones exchange. And for the law, however Van Jones is on releasing prisoners because they had insane bail bonds or were there for bullcrap charges, under his program, they have been able to get 14,000 sons from prison. And what we have to understand here, just like war in Afghanistan and Kabul, that prisons are a $300 billion industry. We spend $300 billion on our penal industry. We're going to have to rethink that. Listen carefully to the sayings of Van Jones with reference to that. Listen carefully to the sayings of Reverend William Barber when it comes to labor and how we need to start paying our laborers, our folks that are getting up, going and doing those jobs that we don't want to do, or just having a job, being able to get up and go to work. We're going to have to look at how the resources are being spent when we're talking about getting involved in war. For those of us in the United States, we need to get another mindset against the war. We need to rethink that. There is political anxiety out here now, and there is political insecurity out here now. The anxieties that we listen to all of you all on MSNBC, CNN, and the Fox, and we listen and we devour your information. But now it's coming out every day. It's too hurtful to listen to. So I had to close my ears Saturday and Sunday. And I thought I was going to wake up on Monday and have another insight, but truth be told, I don't. We need to look at our systems of war, our systems of politics, our systems of labor, our systems of law. We need to work on some things, ladies and gentlemen. And those of you that are quiet like me, never raised a ruckus, went to the polls and did what they ask us to do. We need to start rethinking who they are and what are they asking my vote to do. Because like I've said, those that have been in the Congress and the Senate for more than 20 years, all of you, or each of you, need to be gone by 2022 or 2024. And calling out in particular Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham, because they just got reelected in 2020 for 6 years. So it's 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25. By 2026, for sure, Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham and hopefully Kevin McCarthy need to be gone. Capital GONE. They have not increased the material conditions of all people. You've done it just for your people. So now, we, between 2022 and 2026, we're going to be thinking a whole bunch of new thoughts. And if you find yourself there and you are not helping, H.R. 4, the John Lewis Voter Advancement Act, the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act, the George Floyd Police Brutality Act, a review of Plessy versus Ferguson, and a review of One Drop Makes All Children Born. If you got one drop of black blood, you are now considered black. We need to rethink some things. Or we surely need to rethink how these 71 million individuals that voted for the Trump ideology, we're going to have to love them enough to help them to see it's beyond your white skin, babies. It's just working for you all right now. But there are more of me than there are of you. I'm 75. I've been unapologetically black for a long time. And let me just say, there are more of me than there are of you, Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Kevin McCarthy, Liz Cheney, Mitch McConnell. There are more of us than there are of you. So now you need to start beginning to think about how you're going to end the last year, season, day of your positions, and hope that you make positive changes. And if you don't, we are going to have to come after you. And I've spoken way longer than I wanted to because I want this podcast today, this Monday, to be bright, to be happy, because happiness is work. Man, when you get up trying to be happy and happy the rest of those 86,400 seconds, that makes your day really complicated now. So I'm just asking those of you that get up and do hear me and are feeling any kind of way about what I'm saying, please let's try to move to the happy frame of reference. And we're just going to get these people out that are not voting in our best interest. Until tomorrow, wishing each of you a fantabulous Monday, and we are ready to make and march through the rest of this week. Yours in liberty,